Welcome to the research portion of my SEO blog. So, the first thing that I wanted to look up was International Women's Day 2022 specifically. So, it comes up with the official website, which is a great start. So, I'm just going to click on that one. And it explains here all about it. So, the research for this was super simple. All I had to do was go onto their website. So it tells me when it is, who the International Women's Day partners are, which includes LinkedIn, which is great because that's the platform that we're going to be using to promote the blog. It also explains what the theme is. So the theme was break the bias. You can learn more about that up here. So I needed to research what break the bias meant. And right here, it kind of gives you a little bit of a breakdown. The next research topic that I needed to look up was specifically women in broadcast and streaming, so that I could make sure that I knew who I wanted to contact and make sure that I could do that within enough time. So I actually started to do this research a couple of weeks before the blog just to make sure that people had time to come back to me. And I had time to interview them, and it wouldn't be a very rushed blog with really very little options. So to do this, all I actually typed in was women in broadcast tech, and it came up with quite a few different links. So I was looking for things more like articles rather than actual, rather than company pages or anything like that. Rise here, that you can see Rise here and Rise up here as well. They are a group for gender diversity, and they do have a women in broadcast specialty as well, which was an interesting read. So I was able to find the name Kerry Wotton. So I actually did reach out to her to see if she would like to be interviewed for my blog. And a couple more of these names here. So Sadie Groom, I also contacted Jasmine Brighouse just to see if they were interested at all, since they were, they were working within women in tech. The first two women here, they were working for Rise, so they were actively advocating for women in broadcast tech. And then Jasmine works at Sky, so that would be a perfect kind of case study, if you will. So one of the other places that I went to was Broadcast Now, to try and find a few names that I might be able to contact. Again, Sadie Groom is here, but we'd already contacted her. Now, these are all names that I noted down and that I tried to find on LinkedIn to reach out to them, because obviously I didn't have their contact details. But LinkedIn is, the social platform that most of these professional women would be on. So I thought that reaching out to them there was probably my best chance at getting into contact with them, and quickly as well. Now that I've got a few names that I can contact here, I also wanted to look up women in streaming tech, because that is kind of the same sector that I'm looking into. So there's women who stream tech. That's the first thing that came up. But unfortunately, it's not quite what I'm looking for. These are actual streamers, people who stream, anything really. I mean, their own coding, video games, anything. So that's not quite what we're looking for here. But I found where are the women in the streaming media industry, and that's quite an interesting look. So I did read through this as well, and when I was looking through it, I found women in streaming media. So when I discovered women in streaming media, I wanted to look this up on LinkedIn and see if I could find out who worked there. So they have a company page. Clicked onto people and started going through and seeing who I might be able to talk to. So I did I tried to connect with Alicia Pritchett, as she is the president of the Women in Streaming Media. Unfortunately, Alicia didn't get back to me. However, I did end up connecting with Diane Strutner. And whilst she didn't actually get back to me in time to participate in the blog, it was great to then make a connection with another woman in the industry. So coming back to this blog here, I realised that there were some names already in here that I could look into. So I got to this part and I realized I knew the name Peggy Dow. I had actually spoken with her before previously. And when I looked, we were already connected on LinkedIn. So this was perfect. Peggy and I worked together when Amino were on the RDK podcast. So they came on as a guest and she worked in their marketing department, but she also has another company that she created called Mad Perspectives. And this is where she kind of comes into it a little bit more than just being into marketing. So I reached out to Peggy and asked if she would be willing to interview, and she replied very swiftly and said that it was something that she was really excited about and would like to get in contact and answer any questions that I had, which was fantastic. So that was our first confirmed interviewee